I think we'll make some jewellery using UV resin and cute little charms and open bezels with tape. Let's go play! Hello everyone and welcome to NERDGOBLIN Art. I'm Lula. Right, I have these beautiful little charms of octopus or octopi, is that the plural? And sea turtles. So I'm just going to show you, I've already sorted all those out, I'm just going to show you how I make them. So I've got my clippers, these are jewellery ones, and I'm just snipping off the loops of the charm. And be careful, those things can fly, and I mean they can fly, so either wear goggles or just be very very careful. Now I've snipped those off, I'm going to use a sander. If you have one of those Dremels with the attachments on, use one of those, or you can just do this. Now I find it incredibly hard showing you on the camera like this, but you get the idea. But I do actually need to hold it closer to my body. So there it is. The loop is snipped off and it is filed or sanded down. And I've done that with all those charms. I've got my tape. Now this tape came with the bezels. I have linked it in the description box below. Got it on Amazon. I think there are probably better quality tapes out there. I have heard that the Let's Resin tape is very good. I haven't been able to reuse any of this. It tends to rip once I'm done with it. So making sure to press them down, and I'm just using my scissors to ensure that they are nice and flat on that tape, just like that. And excuse me while I fiddle around and remember that I have a mirror a mirror element for my lamp. That lamp is from Resin Rockers. Magic. And it comes with the mirrored bottom, but you know, you can use any sort of lamp that you really need. And just remember, even though this is mirrored, I still turn it over. I'm still going to be turning the bezel over with the resin once one side's done, just to make absolutely sure it is set. And I'm using J Diction UV resin. This is my go-to resin. It is what I prefer using. I do find it's less bubbly than some other brands. I'm going to pop in some of my favourite Diamond Frost. It's a really nice glitter, really pretty, and it's not expensive either. I think it's less than £6 if memory serves, something like that anyway, but that's linked below too. So just making sure I'm stirring it in, and I'm trying to be as gentle as I can be, because you will bring bubbles in, as you know. It's the same with epoxy resin as it is with UV. You can stir in bubbles, but you know, as long as you're not working with too much natural sunlight in your space, you have got some time to move this around before it starts trying to gel up and go all gloopy. So I'm just making sure I'm not filled it to the top, because I want to place some charms in there. So I'm working back to front on this particular pendant just to have a little try. This is only the second time I'm using open bezels and tape. I've done a video as a members exclusive for my members, as way as basically practice. And they all really enjoyed it and liked the video. So I said that I'd be doing another one. Still using these charms, though I did use the same kind of charms with them as well, but we worked with alcohol inks. I just sprayed the charm with some isopropyl alcohol before pouring it into that resin, and I'm just making sure with my silicone tool that I am happy with the positioning, and under the lamp it goes. And as I said, even though this is mirrored, I still did both sides. And I've got another one ready. This is a square bezel. I have ordered more. These are actually the last few of the silver that I have. I am not a fan of using gold, and I don't like putting silver charms into gold frames, and I don't have any gold charms, so I've had to order some more. And I've ordered in some gold as well. So in goes the sea turtle. Doesn't need to be straight. I quite like it coming out of the corner like this, and I'm using my torch just to fix his position because his flippers could come up because of because of the shape of his shell. I just made sure that he was in place using the torch, and some of the resin I hadn't actually managed to put all the way to the edge, so I'm just adding more now, and those will go, well, that one will go under the lamp to cure. And it's just a clear coating with some of that diamond frost glitter, and we're going to put a backing colour on this now, and I'm going to do it in 2 layers only because I'm using mica powder, and I've chosen cayenne. It is one of my favourite colours, both in ink and in mica powder. So you can see there I've not added too much at all, because not forgetting, because it's UV resin, it does need to make its way through. You know, the light needs to penetrate for it to cure, and that's why I'm doing it as a thinner layer and doing it in 2. Just because. And again, I still make sure to do this both sides. So under the lamp it goes, and I'm doing the same with the turtle. Just making sure we're getting all around those edges. And again, both these pendants will have 2 coats of the cayenne. And I'm just using my torch just because I'm moving it, because it's a little bit full. I don't want any of the resin running over the sides. So just while I put it into the lamp. And these are having, again, I'm making sure that they're going over twice. So 2 layers of the cayenne, and then going under the lamp, both front and back, or back and front, because this is the back and the octopus is in the front. So there we go. It is important, where possible, to use your silicone tool to go around the edges to encourage any bubbles up, and use the long neck lighter. I am not using isopropyl alcohol because I don't want to break any surface tension. So off comes the first one. It comes off quite nicely. It does leave a tiny little bit of the sticky bit, as you can see by there, which we'll sort out in a minute. And as I said, the tape isn't really any good for me to use a second time because it tears when I'm taking them off. But I'm really pleased with those. I think they're really pretty. But I do want to put a dome. I do want to basically dome them, and I'm going to do that just by making life a bit easier, popping them directly onto the mirror, and I'm just clearing off the little bit of like the sticky residue from the tape. Not difficult. If I needed to, I could have used some isopropyl alcohol, but there was no need. It just came off with my glove. And I'm just going to be as careful as I can possibly be, putting on some UV resin, and then using my silicone tool to encourage the resin to the edges of the bezel. And then they can have a cure under the lamp as well. Now, these are really simple makes, and they are absolutely perfect for beginners. And what's really cool as well, if you are making these perhaps for a market, a fair, or anything like that, they sell well. They really do. I have a shop space, and pendants and jewellery pieces are basically my little bit of bread and butter in amongst all the bigger makes that I create, whether they're paintings or resin pieces. It's the jewellery that, you know, because you can sell it a little bit cheaper than maybe a large painting, you know, people like to buy them. You know, they come into the shop, and yeah, they really are a really good seller. And as we're coming towards the summer as well, people love stuff like that. You know, specifically ladies like them a lot for going on holiday and having as holiday wear. But look at that, just with a little topping of the clear UV resin, and they look beautiful. Really simple and really nice. And that's just with charms and some mica powder and a bit of UV resin. Oh, and a little bit of glitter. Don't forget the glitter. So we're going to do these ones slightly differently. Instead of starting with the clear and working back to front, we're working not back to front, we're working front to back. Something like that. But anyway, I've got bright blue. So I'm going to be putting the colour in first, and we'll be putting the charms on top with the clear glitter coating over that. Words, I tell you, words are hard. Descriptions are hard. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. And these are slightly different shaped ones. As I said, I am running out of open bezels, but we'll see what we can make of these. So once again, exactly the same, just making sure that the resin is going all the way round into the corners and encouraging any bubbles to come up. And once again, I am not filling these all the way to the top because we need to put the charms in and also another layer of resin. And these ones, again, sprayed with some isopropyl alcohol, and he sits quite nicely in that one. And then the other turtle, so he's gonna go in there. Just, you know, I very cleverly dropped it in the wrong way. So just tidying that up, you know, clumsy fingers. The actually spraying it with the isopropyl alcohol actually made it quite slippery. So just quickly cleaned it off and then placed it back in just like that. And it's cute because you don't have to put them, you know, perfectly central or anything like that. So that's what's nice about these, and it makes them more interesting. So I cured these both front and back. Again, like I said, regardless of my mirrored bottom, I said bottom, on the actual lamp. So this is just the clear resin with some of that diamond frost glitter, and I'm going to do 2 layers on here just for more control really. And I am making sure that it's going over the charms as well, because it's going to give some protection to the charms and it helps it look like they are underwater. But again, making sure to be careful to encourage any bubbles by running that silicone tool all around there. And again, I'm not spraying with any isopropyl alcohol because of surface tension. So I gave them 2 coats of the clear UV with the glitter, and off they come. Isn't that pretty? I actually really like that one. I'm not really too fussed on like heart shaped type necklaces and stuff, but that one I think it looks really lovely. And again, off it comes. And there's an interesting one, isn't it? I quite like that. It's a different shape to what I've never used a shape like that before. Now with this bezel, it's a little bit different because the hoop is round a different way, so it doesn't lay flat. See, you can see there. So if I was to put tape on, I think the resin would disappear. So I'm going to use a lollipop stick and just pop it on the end there, so I don't get any leakage. So do excuse me for faffing around a little bit, but it's good for you to see as well, because if you happen to get the same bezels, it's good to problem solve, I think. So just pressing it down on there, and it's just a way to stop the resin from escaping from underneath that bezel. Just balances it out nicely. The little turtle charm that I'm going to be using is a little bit too big for the bezel, but that's absolutely fine because I want it to look like the turtle is emerging from water, which I think is going to be pretty cool. I'm still using the bright blue mica powder, and these mica powders are Let's Resin, and they're from their, I think it's a 60 odd set. Is a really nice set. You get so many lovely colours in amongst there. So once again, getting that silicone tool around for any bubbles and the long neck lighter. And you might have seen that I just put the UV resin that I've mixed underneath a cup. That's because it is daytime and I'm just trying to save on my UV resin. So that's had its cure, and I did it both sides, and this is just the clear now with a little bit of glitter in there. And again, I'm going to give this 2 coats and do it, you know, it's just taking your time. You can do several at once, but because I'm showing you know, I'm just showing you, say, one at a time. But there he is all done. Once I can get it off the sticky tape. And do excuse if you can hear a pussycat. Mr. Bilbo Baggins hasn't made an appearance for a few videos, has he? So he's just having a little chatter in the background. But check him out. I love that. It looks as if he is, you know, really emerging from water. I really like it. Right then, I thought, wouldn't it be cool, because I've always got sea glass and I've had this knocking around in the drawers for ages now. I did try to use my Dremel to drill an actual hole through it, but it wasn't doing it. So plan B, I've got these flatbeds. I'm not entirely sure what to call them, but they're, you know, you can glue them on. I'm UV resining them on, still solid as can be, and just giving it a few moments under that light, and it's going to go under the lamp as well. And I figured these are beautiful. They're really soft, they've been treated, they're not sharp at all, and I've made sure of that. So that's just the resin with some of the glitter in there, just making sure that it's going round all nicely. I'm just using the lollipop stick just to level it out, because I probably should have, no, I'm happy with the way round I done it, because having the attachment there helped me pick it up and stuff. So I've put the octopus on this one, and I'm just using the torch just to make sure I'm happy with the position and it doesn't go moving around, because it can be quite slidey on the UV resin. And that's just gone under the lamp, I should say. So I'm going to do a second one with another turtle. I pulled him from the drawer. These are really great little charms. I have linked them in the description box below, so, you know, go for it. You can make so many out of them, and like I said earlier, if you're going to a market or a fair or anything like that, you know, you could be charging 12 to 15, 20 pounds for these necklaces, and you really do make your money back on them. Subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing. I've picked up a lot of new subscribers lately, and I really truly appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber, please consider doing so. It's the click of a button, and it's absolutely free, and you just help my channel grow, and it really does make my weird little heart happy. I love it, and I'm loving showing you stuff and inspiring and encouraging you to give things a go. And I've also got memberships. You can check that out below. You can hit a join button and it's $3.99 a month, and you get early access to bits and pieces, sneaky peeks and stuff like that. I decided that I was going to put another layer over the top of the charms as well, because I wanted to give it the look of being in water. And also it gives it a little bit of extra protection, and it's really sealed in place. It's not going to go anywhere. And that glitter with the UV resin is absolutely beautiful. And I think it really brings out the colour on the sea glass too. I am considering actually doing the other side of them as well, just to make sure that the colour is really brought out and vibrant on both sides. But it's a great use for sea glass. And you know, if you've bought, or even if you get your sea glass yourself from the beaches and you know and such, how inexpensive is this to create? And like I said, if you're doing markets and fairs or anything like that, or even if you're just making it for somebody you really care about, perhaps you're making it for them because you've been on holiday together and you want to remember it, and you know, you collected sea glass together on the beach. What a great way to, you know, celebrate that or remember it. But I think they're absolutely gorgeous, if I don't say so myself. But what a great use and just creating really simple, beginner-friendly jewellery. And they look smashing, don't they? You don't just have to do blue. No, of course, you could do any colours you like, but I was going for the seascape thing. But I do love seeing, you know, like pinks and stuff like that. But no, I think they are really, really pretty and very easy to make. So I hope you're inspired to have a go yourself. And as I say, everything I've used, as much as possible, is linked in the description box below. And just make sure that they're fully cured. Give them their 5 minutes under the lamp so they're not sticky. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed watching. And hopefully you have a go yourself. Great fun, and you can use any kind of charms really. Love you and stay weird. Hello everybody. Now this is my studio. It's actually a conservatory that is attached to the back of the house. I used to childmind in this space when I was a childminder, obviously. But this is now the studio. It's been our studio for about 2 years now, but with the difference of having all new shelving put in over the last couple of days. This is to enable us to have all the printers in the same space. Now we lovingly call this space the cwtch. Now in Welsh, that is a word for a safe space, a cwtch, a hug. So that's what we call it. It actually says it there, cwtch. C-W-T-C-H, cwtch. And this is where I work. Got all my mica powders. I got more stuff in there. I've got all sorts. This is my desk. It's an electric desk as well, so it can lift up and down, which is great when you have issues with your spine and such. I got a trolley there, and that's where I tend to put my molds that I'm going to be working on soon. I've got bits and pieces. This is something somebody bought me a long time ago as a gift. And got my mask and goggles and all sorts in there. It's my phone case that I take off for filming. This is my part more of my workstation where I keep bits and pieces. This is another spot where I can film. I've got another balance board under there, leveling board I should say. my degasser, my debubbler, and I got all my motions potions and stuff. That's Steve, my dinosaur. He's an original Jurassic Park toy and he's covered in paint and he looks after tape and stuff. This part is still ongoing. This is the cleaning station for the resin 3D printer. Not quite finished yet, but it's going to be up and running soon. It's filled with stuff. And all my old frames and stuff that I find in charity shops, and pieces of card that we get from cans and we put on when we want to spray stuff with the spray cans. Then over here is the filament printer. This until now has been in the living room of all places, and yes, we've bought kitchen units. These units are meant for kitchens, but they're ideal for storage and stuff, so we have them in here because it looks really nice as well. Oh, and look, there's a painting I did for Martin of the Great Unclean One. So yeah, and he's doing a test print because this has been moved from the living room, so he's just making sure it's all tickety-boo. My eco tank, which is a fab printer, it really is. This is Martin's bureau that he likes to paint at for his like Warhammer and miniatures and stuff. He's still sorting it out, and this area is set up for being our airbrush. We've got a machine by here which has a vent, which when we want to use it, it can open up in here and the vent can go out the window right by there, which is really, really funky. But it's, you know, it's still working it all out, still quite a bit to work out and sort, but I'm really pleased. This is where I film from. This is where I do my main filming. That's Wednesday's video by here. I'm ready to start working on. But yeah, this is where I store my bits. Terrible storage up there. I have a glass roof conservatory, so this is a sail that you might put on outside in the garden, but it's meant to, the glass is supposed to not let in like 80% of the sun, but it can get warm in here. So I only tend to work during the summer months. I only tend to work in here from early in the mornings till around 2 in the afternoon. But because no resin's out at the moment. Puss cats are chilling. They like it in here. And Griffy Boo, who needs a haircut, he's chilling as well. And Winnie the Woo, she's just been spayed. She's had an operation, bless her, so she's healing up. And these are our thinking chairs. or where the dogs and the cats like to chill when I'm working on something. But Binksy Boo Boo is really enjoying the space again because he's been investigating. Yeah, and I've got all sorts of stuff in here, just extra places for me to keep other things, extra fillers like sea glass and abalone shells and stuff. So yeah, we've done really good, and those are other places where I store bits and pieces. Yeah, so it's looking great. Like I said, still a little bit to go with the 3D printer. And Martin's been printing things up for the kids to paint and work on and practice their skills. And of course we've also got, these are special goggles that you can wear, new thing, and these are from the filament printer. Still got their supports on them, so we have to get those off, and then we do a bit of painting and staining of them so they look really, really cool. Yeah, so there we go. Having a good nosy. I have several aprons I like to use. Some I use only when I'm wearing resin, others I use when I'm painting. So this is a station, and this is something that Martin recently 3D printed on this printer, in fact, on the filament one. The filament one, if you look, is where it's all like the wiry stuff. And then it comes down and creates stuff like that. It's awesome. But Martin has painted this and treated this, and we think I think he's going to do a video for you guys as well at some point on painting them up. So these are just little bits that he's been printing and wanting to paint up to look cool and put in the shop. Oh, that's when it has been in the shop, but we've taken it out recently. Just to do a bit of extra work too. Yeah, so funky stuff. And another cool thing that we're gonna have a look at as well. This one was filament printed, I think. Yes, this was filament printed as well, so yeah. So we got all sorts of cool bits and pieces going on, and all of Martin's drawers of Shane with all his Warhammer 40k stuff. And of course, more paints, more filaments. That unit over there, that lovely unit by there, that's full of like acrylic paints and stuff. So I hope you like it. I'm really pleased. It's organised and it's tidy. There, Griff, say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
In a room full of colors and swirls, Nerd Goblin art draws a magic worlds. With foxes that prance and badgers that dance, a whirlwind of dreams with a single glance. Gerald the alligator grins so wide, in enchanted waters he loves to hide. Dragons breathe wonder with flames so bright, each creature born from a magic night. Nerd Goblin paints life in every brush, animals frolic in a vibrant rush. From canvases to tales they leap, in a realm where fantasy meets deep. The studio's alive with swirling paint, creatures so pure they need no saint. Sketches of foxes with tails of light, badgers with moon